Hello class, we're about to start section A of unit 1 whole numbers. It says an exponent denotes repeated multiplication. The base tells us what number to multiply by itself, and the exponent tells us how many times to use that number as a multiplier. And this problem here is 6 to the second power. The base is 6. The exponent is 2. Write the expanded form. That means we need to take 6 to the second power, which is really 6 times 6. Now we want to simplify that, which basically means here is just to multiply 6 times 6, which gives us 36. Now, we scroll down to the next part. We add 2 to the fifth power. The base here is 2. The exponent is 5. It says write the expanded form. Expanded form, we will write 2 multiplied by itself 5 times. And then it says simplify, which basically means multiply here. To be 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. Now we come here to 5 to the third power. The base is, we know the base is 5. The exponent is 3. It says write the expanded form. Expanded form here would be 5 times 5 times 5. And we're asked to simplify it. 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 is 125. Now, we scroll down here to section B. It says to find the square root of a number n, ask yourself what number multiplied by itself gives you n. Find each square root. Now we have the square root of 16. We ask ourselves, what times itself is 16? Now we know that 4 times 4 is 16, so our answer here is 4. Now we look here at 100. What number times itself is 100? We know that 10 times 10 is 100, so the square root of 100 is 10. Now we come down here to the square root of 49. We know that 7 times 7 is 49, so the square root of 49 is 7. And finally, the square root of 64, we know that 8 times 8 is 64, so our answer is 8. Now, we scroll here to page 2. It says section C, order of operations. Write an expression. When an expression requires more than one mathematical operation, it is important to know the order in which to do the operations. So our order of operations goes like this. P stands for parentheses. E stands for exponents. So this is number 1, and this is number 2. Now we come here to number 3. Now, is multiply or divide? And then finally, number 4 would be add or subtract. Now this is the exact order that you would do the problems that you will encounter. Now again, the first thing you would do is parentheses. Now there are different sets of parentheses. We have the basic looking parentheses. We have the brackets. We also have the braces. And then we also have absolute value. Next, we have exponents. Exponents we just did on page 1, which is the powers. And then we have multiply or divide. Remember, it depends on which one comes first from left to right. So if division comes first from left to right, you would do that. If multiplication comes first from left to right, you would do that. And then last but not least, you would add or subtract, whichever one comes first from left to right. Now, it says many people use the mnemonic device, and this mnemonic device is PEMDAS, to remember the order of operations. Now, assorted hints. Do one step at a time. Consider using the method of boxing in the operation to be performed next at each step. If there are several sets of grouping symbols, start from the inside and work your way out. At any step, you should always be working on the innermost set of grouping symbols. Once you have reduced what is inside a set of grouping symbols to a single number, stop writing the grouping symbols unless they are needed as a separator. So we go down here to the examples. It says simplify each expression. We have 5 plus 6 times 3. Now, of course, we know according to our PEMDAS or the order of operations, we know we would do multiplication before addition. So we have 5 plus 18, which will give us 23. And then here we notice we have multiplication, we have our parentheses, we have addition and subtraction. You know we would do parentheses first. So we would do 5 plus 2, which is 7. So we had 3 times 7 minus 6. Now there's nothing else we could do inside this parenthesis. So what we would do is look at the other operations. We have multiplication, we have subtraction. We know multiplication comes before subtraction. So we'll take 3 times 7, which is 21, minus 6, which is 15. And that is our final answer. Now, we scroll here to page 3. We have division, multiplication, and the exponent. We know we do the exponent first. So we have 24 divided by 3 times 2 squared is 4. Now we look at the operations we have left. We have division, we have multiplication. So what we would do here, according to the order of operations, since we have division and multiplication, we do whichever one comes first from left to right. And since division came first from left to right, we would divide first. 24 divided by 3 is 8 times 4, which will finally give us 32. Now we come here to the next problem. We have an exponent, we have subtraction, we have a radical, and we have subtraction and an exponent. Now basically, when you look here, we have these exponents, but also radicals are considered to be grouping symbols as well, like almost the same level as a parenthesis. So what we would do is this here. Let's do this square root of 4 first. The square root of 4 we know is 2. So it'll be 3 cubed minus 5. And we will put that 2 in a parenthesis, minus 4 squared. Now we have the exponent, subtraction, multiplication, subtraction, and the exponent. This parenthesis here, there's nothing more we could do with it, so we don't count that as an order of operation. But we know our next step will be to do the exponents. So we add 3 to the third power, which we know means 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. Minus 5 times 2 minus 4 squared. Now we do the next exponent. The only thing that's squared here is this 4, not this minus sign. So we know 4 times 4 is 16, so it'll be minus 16. Now we have multiplication. We have subtraction, multiplication, and subtraction. We do the multiplication. So we add 27. A minus 5 times 2 would give us minus 10. And we bring down our minus 16. 27 minus 10 is 17, minus 16 will give us 1. Now, we scroll down to the next problem here. We have multiplication, this parenthesis, we cannot do anything with it. We have addition, multiplication, a parenthesis, subtraction, and division. We know we do this parenthesis first. So we add 3 times 5. Plus 4, and we know 8 minus 3 is 5, minus 10 divided by 2. Now there's nothing we can do inside these parentheses, but we have multiplication, addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division. We know we would do the multiplication first because it came first from left to right. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 4 times 5 minus 10 divided by 2. So we have 15 plus 4 times 5 is 20 minus 10 divided by 2. And then we would do the division. So we have 15 plus 20. And then we have a minus 10 divided by 2, which would give us a minus 5. 15 plus 20 is 35. Minus 5 is 30. And that is our final answer. Now we come here to the next set. Now we have addition, this will be multiplication. We have our bracket, which is a form of parenthesis, and we have a parenthesis on the inside and an exponent on the inside of the parentheses. Now, what we need to do is go inside this bracket and do these parentheses. So we have 7 plus 2 bracket, 2 plus 3 is 5, squared minus 20. So we have 7 plus 2 bracket, parenthesis 5 squared. We know we would do this exponent before we do the minus 20. 5 squared is 25 minus 20. So now we have 7 plus 2, and we have to finish off what's inside this bracket before we move outside the bracket. 25 minus 20 is 5. So we have addition, and now we have multiplication because we cannot do anything else with this bracket. So we have 7. So we have positive 2 times 5, which will give us a positive 10, and 7 plus 10 is 17. Now we scroll down here to the next problem. Now if you notice, we have this division bar here, or the fraction bar. Only thing this means is we're going to imagine that all of this is in parentheses. So we would do all of this first, then we would do all of this, and then their resultant answer, we would divide them. We would write them as a fraction and divide. So we look here at our numerator. We have an exponent, addition, a radical, plus a radical. We should do these radicals first because they're grouping symbols. So we have 7 squared plus the square root of 9 is 3, plus the square root of 4 we know is 2. All over, we add 3 times 6, we'll just write that down, divided by 2 times parenthesis 3. So let's finish off this numerator. We would do our exponent next. 7 to the second power is 49, and then plus 3 plus 2. Our denominator, we'll bring that over. Now if you notice, we have all addition in our numerator, so we could just add straight across. 49 plus 3 is 52, plus 2 is 54. All over, we have 3 times 6 divided by 2 times 3. Now, we're done with our numerator. Now we need to finish our denominator. We have multiplication, division, and multiplication because we cannot do anything else with this parenthesis. So now what we need to do is this here. Since we have all multiplication and division, we go from left to right. 3 times 6 is 18. And we are divided by 2 times 3. Now we have division and multiplication. Division came first from left to right. So we'll take 18 divided by 2 is 9, with our parenthesis 3. So now we will have 54. 9 times 3 is 27. And 54 divided by 27 is 2. And that is the final answer.